What is going on, everybody? We are back with yet another episode of Beyond the Deal. My name is Michael Lopez. I'm here with Mr. Benjamin Allgaier.
Okay, mother.
What's your middle name?
Ben Holtz.
Ben Holt?
Ben Holtz.
Holtz.
No, Ben Holtz.
Ben Holtz.
Yes.
Ben Holtz
Yeah.
Allgaier.
Uh-huh.
How is it the first time that's coming up?
I don't know because I try to keep that quiet. It's a horrific middle name.
You have been hiding that from me
I have.
for some time. Wow.
Damn near 2 years.
Ben Holtz.
Uh-huh. That's right.
Stuff. All right. Well, we're back. Today we've got a couple things lined up. But yeah, start us off, Ben. How you doing? What's happening in the business?
Good, brother. There's a lot going on. I know you've spent most of this week lining out our AI, which seems to be working well now. And I actually got a message from another guy in the community, David. He said that he went to a local meetup in where's he at in Ohio? Dayton-ish area?
I
I think so. He went to a local meetup and was talking about the community, was talking about all things we have implemented. He goes, these are guys that do a lot of deals, and they had never heard of any of the stuff that we're doing.
really.
He goes, you guys are far and above what most people in this industry are doing compared to, the guys that I was talking to. They don't have any of that.
Wow. Were they? Do you know if they were like wholesalers or were they more like builders, like contractors?
Wholesalers. Yeah, it was an off-market real estate group.
Wow,
hmm
that's really
Which was
encouraging.
cool.
Yeah,
Yeah. David was encouraged too. He's like, this is really cool that you guys have all of this stuff.
we're on the cutting edge, as corny
Yeah.
as it sounds. But yeah, man, I know we've talked about that before. It's like there's the stuff that works. The principle's like, hey, every day you're gonna have to show up and do this stuff, and there's the opportunities to innovate.
hmm
And it's a balance because you need to get paid. You get paid by doing the stuff you know works, but then there's also it's like investing. So you invest your time, your resources, and your money in some ways, and let's go out on the limb and try this
hmm
for the payoff. And I think like any investment, it's like what is the cost benefit analysis? But I think you should always be investing in that sort of way, and like in terms of taking those. I don't want to use the word gambles because like when we innovate, usually the only resource that we're really investing is time. All
hmm
those are things like the comping tool that
Yeah.
are maybe money resources, but like, yeah, like always be trying to change in some way because it's innovate or you're left behind.
Yeah. And I mean, this business has been run the same way for so many years that, this is so different than anything that anybody's seen before, right? With all the AI and stuff that's being implemented. Plus, the market is changing so rapidly, especially right now. And I think that's what we're going to talk about today. But so many different things are going on that, it's imperative right now to keep overhead costs as low as possible. And we talked about this yesterday with some other investor groups that we know that are spending a boatload of money on overhead. They're building their team to then try to figure out how to fill their team with work instead of doing it the way that we're doing it, which is, get all of the work and then figure out how to build the team. Because if you have the leads funneling in, if you've got all of these opportunities, you're gonna be able to find people who want to come in and take advantage of those opportunities.
Yeah, you're right. It's, I mean, I even think in terms of attracting better talent. I mean, we have a lean team, so we don't really do a lot of hiring, so to speak.
Yeah.
But yeah, the type of people who are gonna you're gonna hire and be like, hey, you have to go like find your own leads. You got to like, call our dead leads. Versus if the opportunity is, hey, we have like we're making 10 offers a day, and like we just need someone to come in and make these offers. Like
Yeah.
the level of person that you're gonna be able to get with that type of opportunities is gonna be huge. So I mean, that's even like a side benefit. I know we like to keep it lean just for even like mental peace
Yeah.
of
For
like,
sure.
hey, if we have a bad day, bad week, bad month, like we're still good. But just I think as we talked about yesterday, like it is a better foundation to grow from.
And that's what we teach everybody inside the community, right? We don't teach them, hey, you need to go get 5 virtual assistants, you need to pay $175 a lead and make sure that you're constantly pumping money into that lead machine. No, we don't tell people to do that because that's not a good business model, especially when you're trying to learn the foundation of the business. You're gonna burn yourself out, run out of cash, get pissed off, and then stop doing this.
Totally. Yeah, you said something earlier that like everything changes so fast. Not even in terms of like technology, but just like the market that we talked about. Obviously, we've talked a lot about in these episodes, like we're doing more innovations and the way that you talk to homeowners, it really does change so fast. And shameless plug, I don't even know how people who are just starting off do real estate without a mentor. Like I think about, I mean, when I started in this business, I obviously had the sales background, and then I met you, and so I never really started from scratch because I had you. But for people who like are genuinely starting from scratch, like, I don't even know how you keep up between like laws, regulations, like doing novations, like title companies. Like there's so much. Again, shameless plug. Like if you're somebody who is doing this by yourself, invest in yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Follow Ben on Instagram. Send him an Instagram message because you are probably going to burn out and quit.
Yeah.
And I say that from someone who has experience starting new businesses, where I've done it by myself, where I'm learning everything, and it's still doable. But the amount of time and money you're going to waste, like you're going to pay the stupid tax regardless, and the mistakes you make, you might as well just invest up front and save yourself the time.
Yeah, for sure. You're gonna get deals quicker. You're going to, not have not feel like you're on an island trying to do this on your own. I think that's one of the biggest keys of the community is, we saw Jason get 3 deals under contract this week. We saw Miles get a 4-deal package under contract. Harris got another contract. Like people in the community are doing deals, and I'm sending a contract to one of David's deals today. So, we've got people inside the community that are posting those things, and it's encouraging to everybody else because they see that and they're like, this is awesome. Okay, it's doable. And I mean, who said that yesterday that said, I actually see how this is doable.
Hmm.
That was somebody on the coaching call. They're like, it actually works. Well, duh. I think that was Morin.
Uh,
Like, yeah, this actually works. Yeah, it does. Did you think that it didn't? I mean, we've
that's,
been doing this for a long time.
that's so funny. Yeah, like I said,
Oh, go
on
ahead.
the coaching call. Like I said on the coaching call, like there's the exposure and seeing things enough times for your brain to be able to identify like this is the right way,
Mhm.
this is the wrong way. And if you're doing it by yourself, I mean, you have calls that you're making with homeowners, but a lot of times you don't have the external like, hey, this is right, this is wrong. Like you're kind of just using your own gut, your own sense, which again, which is why it does work. If you do it enough and you have enough reps, you'll eventually be able to figure out like, I did this so many times it didn't work, or you just have someone like us tell you, you tell us, hey, this is what I did, it didn't work. Like, hey, that doesn't work. Like, do it this way.
Exactly. Yeah, and I mean, I think that leads us into kind of what we wanted to talk about today, which is the market in general. There's so many things that are changing that you have to adapt quickly. And if you're not learning every single day, you're going to fall behind. And the things that you tried a month ago that you finally figured out, okay, now this works, it may not work anymore. So, just a quick story or an idea. There's probably somebody right now in this country that's got their house listed. They listed it 6 weeks ago. They got a real estate agent. The agent promised them that spring was going to be hot. They said, spring is the time to sell. We're moving into the end of the school year. And this guy's probably sitting there and his wife wants to move before the next school year. And every morning he gets up, he's looking at his phone. Is there a new request for a showing? There's not. He's asking his real estate agent, what the hell's going on? And they don't know. Real estate agent doesn't know what's going on. They stuck a sign in their yard and, they've gone a couple months. They're not getting anything. So the last time home sales were this slow was 2009. The Lehman Brothers thing, foreclosure signs everywhere. Nobody's calling it a crisis yet. But by the end of this, what we're probably going to show you is why we're quietly having a really, really, really solid year and how you can run the exact same playbook from anywhere in the country, which is what we do. We operate in all 50 states. We got a lead from Hawaii last week. I mean, random lead in Hawaii. So we're doing deals all over the country.
I talked to that guy yesterday, finally. And he finished the conversation by being like, "Aloha, brother." I was like, "Aloha."
See ya.
I enjoyed it. But yeah, it's funny, right? Yeah, like you said, like, home sales are low, but like deals are still being done.
Yep.
Houses are still being sold. And so it's also interesting when you hear that of like, obviously that's an aggregation of like national home sales have never been this low.
Yeah.
And then you dive into like specific states and it's like, okay, in these states, it's super slow. There's always like any average, you have top of the market, everything's going well, and there's bottom, and then it's like somewhere in the middle. It's like, all right, this is the average of what we're seeing.
Yep.
So, and what's your overall diagnosis, I guess?
Florida, Texas, Arizona, California, struggling, struggling bad. Weirdly enough, Kansas City is in the top 1% of increase in home sales and home prices over the last year. So the Midwest is still going strong. And I think a lot of people are moving to the Midwest because they can't afford to live in these places like Florida, Texas, California, Arizona.
Hmm.
Oil prices are up. The prices of everything is going up. So they're liquidating and moving to places like the Midwest where things are just inherently cheaper because we don't have beaches. We don't have mountains. We don't have any of these things that people think that they want, but the things that you think you want come at a cost. And it's a hell of a lot easier to live in Missouri or anywhere in the Midwest and take a flight to Colorado, California, Arizona, Florida. You can do that a hell of a lot cheaper than living in those states and paying exorbitant tax amounts that, continue to tick up. Especially in Florida, you're paying for insurance if you can get it on hurricanes and flood. And then these other areas like Arizona, they're being run out by the people coming from California. The Californians can't afford to live in California. They're moving to Arizona, which is pushing the people that are in Arizona to other places like the Midwest. And then Texas is just a shithole. I mean,
Okay.
it is a shit show down in Texas right now.
Was it taking a little bit of a turn, or was that Florida where things were looking like
It
slightly
was.
better?
It was looking slightly better. And the same thing with Texas. It was looking slightly better. But now, with the war that we've got going on and the prices of oil increasing, the prices of energy increasing because of these AI costs, like the turn that we thought was going to move it back into, ticking upwards and starting to see growth again, we're just not seeing it.
So where does that leave investors? People who are wholesaling, cash deals, the whole nine. What should their perspective look out be?
Florida, Texas, Arizona, you got to be you got to be deeply discounted on your pricing. We see it all the time. I mean, I comped a deal in Florida, in Texas, and in Arizona all today. The prices that these homeowners are asking are, you know, 2022 pricing. People are buying houses. They're trying to sell houses they bought in 2020, 21, 22 for 50, $60,000 more than what they paid. And the reality is these houses are worth less than what they paid for them. And it's
Say,
our job to help them understand based on the statistics in the market, your house isn't worth this. So you either stick around and stay in this house and not move, or you take, you you move on past the sunk cost fallacy and realize that if you want to move, it doesn't look better over the next 12 to 24 months.
hmm,
So you may be stuck there for the next 3 years.
you would say, in terms of turnaround, you're not bullish on the next like 12, 24 months turnaround.
Not in those areas.
So if you're operating in those areas, is it worth it? Because I know the natural inclination is like, oh, I live in Florida, so I'm going to do deals in my market. How do you approach that?
You better get really good at conversations with homeowners because inherently what we see in these markets, the Arizonas, the Texas, the Florida, there are a boatload of investors in these areas. So you have to find a way to stand out. And the way to stand out is not over promising and under delivering to these homeowners, getting a contract and then coming back and reneging on that contract. It is walking them through exactly what's going on in the market, understanding their situation and trying to make a deal work there. Maybe it's not just a straight cash offer. Maybe it's a novation with a, you know, I'll help you sell this house. I'll take a flat fee for it. And you may have to decide that $5,000 fee is acceptable and you're going to operate on volume. Or you get creative like what Jason did. And he told the homeowner down in Texas, listen, I think that I can get you more, but I'm not going to do this for free. So we'll go under contract at 275. I think he said 270. And I think we're going to sell it above 300, but my bottom dollar is 295, meaning I'm going to make $25,000 for doing all of this work. I can't guarantee you that I'm going to find you a buyer, but anything over 295, we'll have a split on it. And he told the homeowner, because the homeowner was convinced that the house was worth well more than $300,000. So Jason put it in his hands and said, okay, you could be right. Somebody could be willing to pay more than 300. Above 295, we'll split the profits. You got to get creative.
Yeah. And that's the thing is like homeowners, it's tough news to have to deliver that, hey, your house that you bought 4 years ago, it's actually worth less than when you bought it. It's very tough because that's why I think most people like get into home ownership, right? It's like, oh, well, this is an amazing asset. Like it'll only go up.
Yep.
And obviously over a long enough time horizon, I think that's probably true.
Yeah.
But when you're talking about a 3 to 5 year window, it's tough. And obviously I've had a lot of those conversations and they naturally result like go straight to you're trying to rip me off and trying to take my house from me by offering me this offensive offer. Numbers are the numbers. Like, I don't know. I literally walked through the woman I just told you about before we hopped on this. The woman in Auburn, Georgia. She had that qualm of like, I paid this much for it. Like, why is your offer so low? I just walked her through the math. Like, do you know how much like interest we pay on our hard money loans? Like, you're asking for $800,000. Like, you got 6 figure interest on your loan alone. It's like that's why the numbers just don't work. And you can walk people through that, which is where I think that people who are just starting out get very discouraged when they make an offer.
Yep.
And the homeowner chews them out a little bit. You gotta hang in the pocket. We call it in sales. Like you gotta hang in the pocket and just sit there and like a lot of times just logically walk them through. Sometimes it's an emotional game. That depends on the homeowner that you're talking to. But in those situations, like, hey, like let me walk you through how we got here. And then after that, they realize, all right, you're not just trying to like take my house from me.
Yeah.
Then it's a conversation of, all right, do I want to sell my house at this point or do I not have to? Which is why people don't genuinely have motivation. Like, oh, I'm just testing the water. That's when it gets really difficult to get the contract.
Yeah, and people can say these things all day long, but we have a full stack that we built in that Mike built into the back end of our business where now when people reach out to us, they go fill out a form and then they book a call. That's a lot of effort for somebody who tells us, I'm just testing the waters. Most of those people are, they think that that's a sales tactic that they can use. They do want to sell their house. If they went through the trouble of filling out this long form, booking a call, and they tell us that, I'm just testing the waters, I don't believe them. There's a real motivation there that it's our job to uncover.
Totally. Yeah. And I've been going back to this market part of it.
Yeah.
I'm talking about how you need to get creative, especially in those difficult markets. You need to get creative in general.
Yeah.
When it comes to your offers. But if you live in a market like Miami or Dallas, you're just going to have a more difficult time. I find that's a good segue into considering doing deals outside of your market.
Yep.
Talk about flexibility.
Mm-hmm.
We've had some deals that were in rural Bumble nowhere over the last 6 months.
We've got one in Grandview, Idaho. There's 500 people that live in the town.
You want to give a little bit of background on that?
Yeah.
What do you do? You can't. You're not going to wholesale that.
No. So We'll start with the first part because most people are probably thinking, well, Ben, how do I even do deals outside of my market? PPL. And there are a litany of different companies that you can go to for PPL. However, I would suggest finding cheapest, which one of the companies that we partner with is Real Estate Bees. You can get leads for $29. They're nationwide leads, but a lot of these leads are in markets that, are smaller markets, or they just have way less competition, and having the conversations with these homeowners is much easier because you're telling them there's 500 people that live in your town. You're looking for a cash offer in Grandview, Idaho.
Hmm.
There's no one that lives here. There's not cash buyers that you're going to fill out a form online and they're going to call you. That's not how this works. You have to work with a professional that knows how to do this across the country, and we do. We will find somebody to buy your house. I can't guarantee you that it's going to be next week or next month. It may take a while to find that buyer, but we will eventually find that buyer. And the way that we structured this deal was, listen, we're going to do an ovation. We're going to get it on the market. We're going to find buyers for it. And we're just going to take a flat $10,000 fee for doing all of that work.
Yeah. And hearing you say that, my mind goes to when I first got exposed to wholesaling and how it was originally explained to me
Mm-hmm.
was that you get it under contract with the homeowner thinking that you're going to buy it, and then you go around and you flip that contract. And so it's obviously done in a very non-transparent way. I hear you say that, it's like obviously I know that homeowners are open to that as
Yep.
long as you're transparent. And I don't know, I feel like I know we talk a lot about that in our community of like be transparent and like that'll usually prevail. But if I was someone else who wasn't in our community, and maybe I'm off base here, I still feel like people are probably doing it the old way of wholesaling
They
of
are.
the contract and hear that. So when I hear you say that and someone else hears you say that, like you're gonna tell the homeowner that you're not gonna actually buy it, and then you're gonna tell them that you're gonna find a buyer. Like, how does that work? Like, how do people say yes to that? If that's you, believe us, people say yes to that like
All the
every
time.
day. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just a better way to do it because then you're not hiding anything. Like you don't need to be, when you lie, you have that thing inside of you, not like a moral way. I guess you could take it like a moral way, but it's also like I need to hold up this lie and give the homeowner an excuse where you're this way. You're just like, hey, like we had a couple showings, like this is where we're at right now.
Yep. And it's worked well. The deal that we just closed today was a $34,000 net profit deal that we never went into. We never saw it. It was in the middle of South Carolina, like the middle of South Carolina, where there aren't very many people. Well, we told the homeowner, listen, initially we had a wholesale contract with him where we said, we're going to go try to find you a buyer. Didn't work. There weren't buyers for it. So we flipped it to an ovation and said, listen, we're going to go find you a buyer on the market. We had his basis at 90 grand that we were going to guarantee him as a net on the novation. And we sold that house for net 124. We made $34,000 on that deal, and we told him exactly what we were doing. He saw it on the settlement statement that we were making $34,000. It's a hell of a lot easier to do it when you're transparent with people, because the people that don't want to work with you because you're selling it to somebody else, they're the ones that are going to get pissed off if they find out that you're wholesaling the deal anyway.
Yeah,
And now your reputation's at stake.
and you get an earful from that homeowner.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, yeah, of course the wholesale deal can go smooth. Sometimes it does just go smooth like that.
Mm-hmm.
But one thing hiccups, and you have other investors going to see the house, and they're like, "Why are there three other investors?" Like, I know these aren't contractors. Like,
Yeah.
what are these people doing in my house? You're like, "Oh,
Shit.
she about that."
About that, I lied to you. It's tough, right? I mean, it's the way that wholesaling's been taught for forever. Just get it under contract. Once you have a contract, you control the deal. I hate that. I hate that terminology, and I hate the way that people frame wholesaling, because that is it's a shady way to do business. Can you imagine doing that in any other business? I mean, I
Check the
can't.
contract and you control the deal.
Yeah. What? I mean, I can't think of, off the top of my head, or like pretend you're a car salesman. You're buying a car from somebody, and you tell them, listen, you're going to buy the car at this price. We'll buy your car for this price. Just get it under contract. And then the person's falling in love with the car. They love it. They love the fact that you're able to buy their car. And then you go back to them on the final signing and say, well, while we've been sitting here for 5 hours, because that's how long it takes to do a car transaction, our team went and looked at your car. We went and looked at the car that we've got. We actually can't do those numbers. So you've got a decision to make. Do you want to do it at this price or this price?
That's a good example. Yeah, and you're just like, what? That's how it goes, except with their house.
Right.
At 5 hours is actually 13 days.
And it's the biggest asset they'll ever own.
Literally.
Not a good way to do it.
We talked about that South Carolina deal. We flipped to innovation. Obviously, there's things that happen in the background that made that deal just. I mean, I didn't have to deal with it. You did. Not very fun to push through, but of course, there's a $34,000 clip at the end of it. So, if you are a beginner,
and guess where that deal came from, Mike?
Real estate fees.
Real estate fees on a $29 lead.
$29 lead. Crazy.
A good ROI.
I'm not very good at math. What's the percentage of that?
You're looking at me to do math? Where's Todd?
On that wall.
Todd, wake up.
But yeah. So if you are a beginner and you're starting out and you want to do deals elsewhere across the country because you're in Miami, what do you do? Talk about the PPL. You get nationwide leads. Are you then good to start doing deals? Like, I guess if I were to think of the common objection that we hear from people starting out, I don't have any contacts in that state. I don't know the legal framework in that state.
These are all great excuses about 3 years ago before AI was prevalent. You can literally go on Claude and have Claude research all of the state laws and probably go find a contract online that somebody else has already made for that specific state and use that contract.
Wow.
And then for your contacts in the other states, there's so many ways to get people that want to make money off of real estate. Call a real estate agent, tell them, hey, I'll give you the buyer's commission this if you find me a buyer. Great. Or, go log into Facebook, go on a local Facebook group in that area, find some people that are actively posting on that page, reach out to them, have a conversation. It's not that hard. It's just, people get so stuck in their mindset of, I've got to do deals locally. How the hell am I supposed to do a deal if I never see the house? You don't need to see the house. You get the information from the homeowner about the condition of the property. We have technology. You can use FaceTime, or if you don't have an iPhone or they don't have an iPhone, get on Facebook and use that little video software that they have on Facebook and talk to them that way. Look at the house. Have them send you photos. There's so many ways to do this now where we have the technology to be able to do this nationwide. And if you're not, you're missing out.
Yeah. I mean, the other side is you find someone to JV with too.
There you go.
Yeah. If you don't want to do all that, you just find someone trustworthy that can dispo the deal, but you still also need to do the work and get a contract.
Yep. And I don't know if people know this, but we do JV with people all over the country.
Oh, that's right. We do.
That was the deal that Ross just closed. He JV'd with us on that deal. There was, what was it, $27,000 net profit on that deal. He walked away with a check for damn $14,000. I don't know about you. What?
Where'd that lead come from?
I believe it came from Real Estate Bees. And when I say I believe it came from Real Estate Bees, it did come from Real Estate Bees. He paid $29 for that lead and turned it into $14,000.
It's almost like these guys know what they're talking about.
They might.
We're on one today, rightfully so. I don't know what it is, but we left the humbleness at home because I don't know, I think it's just going through it and seeing more students get contracts and do deals. Like, let's go. Like, it's go time. Like, pick up the phone, start actually putting one foot in front of the other, and like, let's do some deals. Like, cool. I don't want to like. I think we do a good job of simplifying it. That's our goal, is like simplifying it, but also not downplaying the work that is required. It's both, especially when you have a JV partner. You have someone like us to be able to dispose of deals and like help you along the way. Some of that work really goes to the back burner. It's like your only responsibility is picking up the phone and making the calls.
Yeah.
And like, yes, you can have AI do it, and like we're showing people how to have AI make the calls, but I still think for now it's better that you pick up the phone and you talk to these homeowners.
You're developing skills too. Like what we talked about on the last episode, you're developing skills when you talk to people that AI is not going to replace.
Yeah.
People are so afraid of all of these things that are coming out in the AI world. If you know how to do sales, AI is not going to replace that.
True.
If you can develop those skills, yeah, it sucks to get on the phone sometimes and call people out of the blue. But again, if you're using PPL or you have inbound leads, these people want you to talk to them. They want to sell their house. It's okay to be nervous on the phone and, have a little trepidation for talking to these people. That's okay. It's something that you'll learn over time. Now, Mike, you and I could get any lead from anywhere in the country, regardless of how difficult they are, and be able to carry on that conversation for 15, 20, 30 minutes.
Yeah. Literally. And because of that, if Martians came down from another planet and destroyed just our business, it was like, all right, we're gonna leave everyone else, but like this real estate business is done, we can start from scratch.
Mm-hmm.
And if we couldn't start from scratch, because they also destroyed the banks that hold our money, we had no resources, we can get a job at any successful real estate company because we have the skills
Mm-hmm.
and like we have the experience. And so that alone is leverage, and that's freedom in a
Yeah.
nutshell. Mental freedom to be like, this doesn't work. Like, I know I got the skills. Like, I can just go and do it for someone else, build up some money after a year, just start my own business again.
Yep. And that is a very relaxing mindset to have, right? Knowing that everything is going to be okay.
Every little thing gonna be all right. That seems like a good place
I agree.
to pin it. And we kind of jumped around as we usually do.
Yeah.
But I think this was valuable. If you liked it, let us know. However many people watch these, let us know. Give us a like. Maybe a comment. Hey, liked it.
Yeah.
Tell us what you want us to talk about. You want us to go deeper on sales, dispo. You want more advanced, less advanced. Let us know. And until next time.